getting people educated to vote. But I think I'm more focused on the education portion, underline, because, that's half the battle is getting people to register.
Right.
But then the other battle is make sure they're understanding who they're voting for, right? Because a lot of these judges are getting elected and we don't know their background. We don't know who they sentenced, right? Or attorneys aspiring to be judges. Let me start there. So some of those attorneys who had some of those cases, and I know you can speak to this a lot because you are part of barrister. Like they have a whole movement of it. It's a whole club, right? So you guys know them.
Boys in Blue,
so think about that. Club. The barristers know who's doing the work, right? What type of cases they're bringing to the Black communities, who's for the Black community, who's for the Latino community, who's for every community, minority community, let's just do it as a whole. And I think, when it comes time for judges attorneys aspiring to be judges, they're always layered. So we never really know or ask those type of questions, how do you deal with the family home life? How do you deal with, family court judge? Like, how do you deal with criminal justice reform? And how do you ask those questions, like what type of cases that you have? So, and I'm sure even on your campaign trail, you didn't get asked those type of questions. Or if you did, it was a little light.
But see, the thing is, what happens is so
I'm taking her back.
You're running, and I see people who I know are not going to take into consideration, whatever, X. I'm just going to say X. But we elect these people. We say, because they paid this person money, and we're going to push them into our community. Right. Now, mind you, we don't give a damn. I don't care how bad they are for the actual community. Right. But they gave me the money, so I don't care. So it's good. I had this man tell me, well, I said, can you tell me anything about the person that you have, your little...
Your ballot.
No. I know they paid me the most money. That's all I care about anyway. He said this out of his mouth. I said, okay. I said, so that's how much your life is worth to you. Because that's what I always say. Yeah. How much is your life worth?
Woo, child.
That's it. Okay? Yeah. Mine's is priceless. So if yours is $1,500, okay, $1,500 it is.
There's literally, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again. There's definitely a lot of lack of integrity as it relates to the field portion of campaigns that has me at a disgust. Because as much as I was working, and I'll talk about the sheriff's race, of somebody who's experienced, right? Hands down experience. Oh, is she for the community? Bruh, Google her. Like you ever see somebody that's on the front lines of change? Like that's her, so the resume for me was just like, well, or do you want this? Do you want the same old this? But then you want to complain about this and you say there's no change for this. And then you wonder why your taxes are increasing because you didn't ask the question for that. So again, self-education without the dollar sign is more so, a devastation for those who choose not to move to the next step. So I will hope, especially after this election season, this cycle, that people really start to educate themselves. That's why I like community news, like PQ, because some people ain't picking up the Philadelphia Tribune or just to be honest, or the Philadelphia Inquirer or the Philadelphia Magazine. And we all know what the targeted audience is. It ain't us. Right? So we got to pick up the school. We got to support the Philadelphia Sunday Sun. We got to support those who support us, who have us on to talk about the issues of the community. So this is a plug, PQ Radio 1 on all these devices. Is your community news source that gives you, when you need it, at the time you need it. But again, you gotta help out. The dollars and the cents. We gotta do something.
But it goes back to exactly what you were saying, and I think that I have to drive this point every time because it is about education, but it's about putting things like civics back into school. Yeah, it's about starting young with our young children in pre-K and teaching them, about who Queen Sheba really was. It's about helping them to know that the education, we have to teach them now. And we have to teach them what's real right now. Like, we can't wait till later. And because we have to work on the ones that are coming up. Because sometimes, like, for us in our age, like, it's too late, you know?
Yes.
Although we can grab a hold and educate, but we need to get them where they're coming up with the knowledge and the correct education. So if I know when I'm 4 that I can't wait till I'm 18 I go vote, there used to be a time.
Right.
There used to be a time when I learned that in civics in high school, and I was like, oh, man, when I get to vote, I think it was Reagan was in office, and I wasn't old enough yet. But I know that Reagan was locking up my brothers and sisters, moms and dads, left and the right. They were being arrested over and over again. And that these children were coming up without parents because their parents had an addiction, which this time is called the opioid. Right. Yeah. But when my friends and my cousin, their mom was being locked up and their parents were being locked up because they were addicted and their families were stripped, you know. Around that time, though, I was excited about voting out Reagan. I couldn't wait till I turn, you know, so I can vote. But we give that passion back into our educational system, Republican or Democrat, whatever. We need to put it back so that there's an understanding that this is why it's important. But if you're not even teaching it, by the time they get to be 40 and they're not looking at the ballot, they're going for the money. Right. But if they were educated back in high school when civics was important.
Well, we gotta be honest. That you know, some prisons have been, and I can't remember the one I saw, but it was a little recent where they was extracting books. Remember, there was a ban on books inside of the prisons.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And let's be honest, you know, in the last couple of years, those books have exonerated some of those folks, right? Because the prisoners were taking the time to learn about their cases, especially when some of them were juvenile lifers, right? And they had, you know, interns as attorneys talking about a fatal life sentence for them, right? So if they didn't go out and do it, and if, what do you call it? The organization,
Innocence Project.
Innocence Project isn't looking into your case, you know. They only have a staff of so many.
Right. Or Kim Kardashian ain't pulling up your mail.
Look, if we ain't reaching out to Kim,
well, that is. So I used to work for the Innocence Project when I was in law school. So it's a limited staff. This was one law school. We had it was 10 of us, and 3 of us was working on one case. So because it's always easier to do something right the first time than to go back. Right. It is so hard to go back and overturn a conviction from it being jacked up because the attorney didn't do what they were supposed to do and whatever. So it is really hard. But on my case, I'm proud to say that my lady is out free.
Woo!
Yes.
Wonderful. But again, how many more cases, you know, is it going to take in order for, you know, the criminal justice system to really be reformed? You know, but again, as we talk about the civic engagement piece, when the books are being taken from the prisoners, right? That what if they didn't get the conversation, or not the conversation? What if they didn't get the education that was necessary in order to pull them out? They would still be in there. Right. Taxpayers would still be paying. Right? Family members would still feel like, oh my God, you were innocent this whole time. Like
Central Park 5, that Donald Trump was responsible. That he was partially responsible for taking the lives of these 3 black young men because he was a bigot and a racist and just jumped onto a story that said that 5 black people were guilty and that's all he cared about. And he supported this deprivation of life and how he got elected. Lord, don't get me started on Russia. And those hillbillies is them. Those 2 combinations. I can say it because it's independent media. Don't you say it, but I'm going to say it because I'm independent. I own my own damn station. And it's them damn hillbillies in Russia that got that man elected. So let me tell you something. Like I said, I'll say it publicly. We need all of our black and brown people to be just as tough as those hillbilly people who get their whole entire family out to vote. Y'all better be just as gassed up with your dog, your puppy, and your shotgun, and go vote.
Now it wasn't just the hillbillies. It was all the races. White folks that decided that they weren't the white males who had been overlooked for too long. It's been too long. I've been overlooked as a man.
Their white privilege is getting tarnished.
It's too long. So I have to. He's speaking to me. He's speaking directly to me, and I'm feeling, and I understand, and I know what he's saying, so I'm gonna vote for him because this is how I feel on the inside anyway.
Right.
Hillbilly or not.
Hillbilly or not.
And I think Trump kind of opened up an entire dialogue. See, I'm getting with the flow.
Yeah,
I'm like,
Well, you learn fast.
Thank you. But I think the other part of the dialogue is the terrorism piece, right? Yes, and what does terrorism look like? And I was actually surprised. One of the commentators actually mentioned white terrorism. White domestic terrorism.
Was it a white or black commentator who mentioned the white?
It was a white commentator.
Oh man, I'm loving it.
But again, we really got to be honest because the white domestic terrorism is what's really hurting our country.
Yeah,
absolutely. Right. And that's the whole inclusiveness of these people are still left alive,
right?
Even after the AK engagement, right? So after they done killed many, they're still alive. They're still taken down with courtesy.
They're walked into the jail cell, walked into the police car, and if we heard the rumors from the last shooting in the movie theater, they stop at Burger King to have it their way on the way. Probably give them a little pat on the back.
So interesting, but again, so now that they're being left alive, what information are you trying to gather? Are you trying to do a medical evaluation?
Because it's a mental health problem.
According to Donald Pratt.
Because it's a mental health problem. Because anytime a white male does something, it has to be some type of explanation. Because black people are the animals. Black people, brown people are the ones that do the crime. They the ones that kill people and do all these evil, nasty, hateful things. When in reality, factually, we know that's not true.
Right. Because when we do take it back to slavery, and they say, now let's get some actual science on the missing pineal gland that supposedly Caucasians are lacking and African Americans have, and this is something that keeps us balanced with our sensibility, our humanity.
Okay,
and some are missing it. I know.
I'm gonna come right back.
She got to change her live. I had to change my live. I might have missed the whole last live, so we apologize. Thank you for God. Come back to this live. All right, but the fact that they can bash your teeth out and force a kettle of food down your throat while beating you bloody, while your eyes protrude, and they can laugh. The difference is there's not many black people who have the heart to do that. And that's what the difference is. So yes, you've been afflicted with this disease for many, many years. Many, many years.
It's a disgrace.
And the white supremacy is just an excuse. Well, now there's no excuse. They don't even have to hide anymore because of a racist president that we have in office. No matter how he got there, he's there. He's there, and he is pushing his narrative. Right. He's pushing it, and he's winning with it.
And I just want to take the time to talk about white privilege for just 1 second.
Okay.
Since we're talking about white supremacy, et cetera, because it was just in the news where, I don't know, Arquette, I think the lady Arquette, I think that's her name, Patricia Arquette's sister, she was saying that she was ashamed of her privilege, her white privilege. She's ashamed. She wakes up, she's ashamed of it. And they had made a comment, someone, a white girl had made a comment and said, my mom has never been privileged. She got up and she worked hard for everything she had, blah, 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 blah. And I just want to say, white privilege does not equal poor. The same way when I was in my law school class and I talked about white privilege, yes, I did, in my law school class, full of white people, I did.
And you should.
Right.
Talk about white privilege. And the young lady said, well, I'm not privileged. I was poor. I said, and then she said, you know how it is. I said, wait.
There we go. Why we gotta compare?
You gotta assume that I was poor.
I said, no, I was never poor. I'm sorry. This is your experience.
I have a guy that has riches on riches.
Okay.
I'm sorry. That is not my story. Right. I was not poor. She talked about going to bed hungry. I said, I never did. This was not my life.
Everybody done pulled a Lauryn Hill album.
So I just wanted to be clear. Being poor is not the same thing as privilege. Poor and privilege are not the same thing. If you are poor, you can still be privileged because the mere fact that you are a white woman, even though you might be working at Target, guess what? You are privileged to probably make more money than a black lady that's working with you. Okay, so
even if it's only about 25 cents,
right?
It's still more.
Right. So these are things that your privilege that come along with having the privilege of having white skin. And the tax, another tax, we talking about taxes, that's another tax being at the birth of a black person, you automatically have issues with high blood pressure, this, that. You are more highly susceptible to certain things because you were born black. Why? Because it's stressful as hell being black.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Which is why I'll say it again, and I'll repeat it every single time I get an opportunity to be behind a microphone. If you are a black person, period, African American, whatever you want to call yourself, I don't care what you call yourself. If you are a black person, especially if you live in America, you need therapy. You need therapy just because you were born black, period. There will be things, let me go Joe Biden on you. There are fundamental things that you cannot control, that are out of your control, that you will experience just because you are black. And that is why all of you, every last one of us, you, me, your mama's mama, everybody who should be listening to PQRadio1.com right now and getting ready to go vote 5, 6, 7 y'all at one time, all of you, all of us, we need therapy. Just because for that simple day, like you said, whatever it is, and for that one day when you'll be called a Nick by your friend, family, or the opposite race.
And that's interesting. You kind of bring that up because even the younger kids, like, I remember my nephew, he goes to a suburban public school, not private, but suburban public school. And, he was called that, and, he shrugged up. He's like, I don't know what that means. Like, I don't even know who that is, right? He's like, my name is X, it's not N.
Right.
And then when he came on to tell us, we explained to him what that meant. And he's like, well, I don't know why they call me that. Right? And this was at the age of 7. So what is going on in these households? What is the doctrine that's being taught?
Right.
And still, like, again, I'm a millennial. I can only imagine what Generation Z is, feeling. And in my nephew, I don't even know what generation that is, but he's back there somewhere.
Right. What number? Who the hell makes up the Generation X, Y, Z?
But why are these conversations even happening, right? Where the hatred is still alive. And the hatred is alive partially is because I always thought it was never removed from our history, but it was always buried. And so when you get someone, who is that commander in chief, and we get Tucker Carlson doing his thing. Because Tucker, let's be clear, he's always been doing his thing, right? If people really listen to some of his pieces from way back in the day, right, and the way he's been able to expound on some of that white national piece, then I think everybody would be shocked, like, oh my God, this entire time, right? This agenda has been pushed apart in doses until now. It's time for the eruption, right? It's like any volcano,
right?
We keep going to Hawaii, hoping we're gonna have a good time, right? We put the little luau in until eruption happens, right? So I think for us as the people, and as we talk about the soul of the country, I think everybody who's running right now is bringing that to the forefront. Booker is totally bringing the inspiration, right? He is, you can do it. You can be anything, right? And we're like, yes, we can do it, Booker, right? And then we got Kamala's just like, that was me.
Right. I did that.
Right? And then we got Elizabeth like, we're going to move forward, and this is how.
Right.
She is very clear on what her agenda looks like.
Right.
And then we got Bernie talking about, I've been saying this the whole time.
Right.
Right.
I'm trying to tell you. Now, we're going to try this again, and I'm going to run on the revolution.
Right.
And what our revolution actually looks like. So I think as we talk about what forward looks like, and when we start looking into the first election for the Democratic presidential nominee race is in Iowa, right? And I think we'll then start to see
who's it.
Man,
I cannot even lie to you all, and I am a super Democrat. Like, they said I'm a super Democrat. Period. Point blank super. I'm a super Democrat. I'm going to vote for whoever the party puts up. But what I will say is that I'm right now nervous. I'm nervous for this party because I will tell you that I am also, on top of being a super Democrat, I am a super Obamacan. And I love everything about Obama, even the things that he may have done wrong that allegedly I will not sign off that he has ever done anything wrong. And I have to, and then, go with Joe Biden, right? Because he was of Obama and he was of that moment. Just trying to help y'all understand my thinking, So in my suit, I'm like, okay, finally, Joe Biden's going to make a strong pitch. He's going to go. And then what I'm seeing right now, when I have to be honest with myself, is I'm seeing some things that I don't want to see from my Joe Biden, who was my Obama. He was the next best thing. Remember, okay, the next best thing, Hillary, Joe Biden, next best thing to Obama, and he was my next best thing. So right now, I am nervous.
It's so early. It's so early for all of them that we all should be at the edge of our seats.
Yeah.
Because it shows, in the last, even a weekend goes by, that is the worst time for a campaign. Because we don't know what's about to happen,
right.
Who's on Morning Joe, who was on Allison and John on CNN in the morning talking about X, and they replaying it the whole day, and then everybody's in the conversation because they missed the weekend spin.
Right.
So we don't know what happened, at a festival until somebody pulls out the footage.
Right.
And then everybody's having a conversation. Yep. And so it's just so much that I'm with you as it relates to being nervous. But I think we have to make sure everybody, regardless, we have to vote. We have to vote for somebody. Whoever has your best interest.
That's right.
Whoever you deem has the soul of the country. Right. I think that is the theme. Right. For the Democratic Party is the soul of the country, right? We keep saying how tired and, how, like right now, Trump is on Twitter having a back and forth with his 11-day communications director, Anthony Scaramucci.
It's the worst. I can't.
I want you to think about that for a second. You're back of, and remember, Scaramucci, he was a multimillionaire investment bank. Right,
doing his thing.
Now he in calm. Listen, whatever. But, 11 days of that. And now you back on the radar. First you're saying you support, the president, and then now you're saying you don't.
Right.
So I want you to think about that for a second. Like, there's no loyalty, there's no commitment. He's now doing a tell-all session.
Yes, no, I don't have to think about these things. I am very aware that we are living in a reality TV show, Trump's new show on Fox. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the way he did it.
Twitter need to open up a podcast.
They probably do.
At this point, oh my God, the Twitter podcast.
They already have it. And he's running it every day. And Trump is, quack as he's the #1 seller on it. We are living his reality, and we are watching our reality right before our very eyes, because every day there's something different that makes this country look like the most ridiculous, entity in the world. Like, then y'all voted for him. As I'm like, this is the first time I ever cared about myself. I'm going to be honest with you, as an American. I care about myself as an American right now because I actually care about what these other countries really think about us. They really think that we are a laughing stock, that we got this idiot racist warmonger in office, and this really represents me on the world floor. It's embarrassing. This fool is running the damn country. It's embarrassing to me as an American, and damn it, I do feel slighted because I freaking voted. I feel slighted, so I understand that. But just as slighted as I feel, I'll be damned if I don't get my ass up and go vote again and again and again and again for every person that died, because so I could do that. Every hanging, every lynching, every dog mangling, every hit with a bat with nails on until I could bled to death. Every drag into the ocean and drown me. Every one.
And we just can't wait for the presidential to get started. It starts with our local races. It starts right now.
Yes.
It starts with community leaders. It starts with media people. It starts with everyday people who live in that city.
That's right. But that's why we will never waste a minute of our time talking to you about issues that don't matter. So we might talk to you about Democrat because we have to. And isn't it interesting that Bernie Sanders hired Nina Turner to be his, director of his campaign?
I'm not surprised because she was running our revolution.
Okay, I absolutely love it. I mean, I still feel like, she could just go ahead and build her child, and one day that child might be big enough to be president if she keep it up, because what she stands on and her authenticity is moving to me. And I wanted to vote for. I'm having a moment with y'all. I wanted to stand behind Kamala right away because she's a black woman running for president. Period. I'm gonna keep it real with you. That's why I wanted to vote for Kamala Harris, because she's a black woman. Okay, a black woman. I need to throw my hats behind her, right? But so I know this might be, what the other team wants us to do. But the fact that this black woman, and we have to talk about the fact about who we are. The fact that this black woman's conviction rate of black American people, black and brown brothers, her conviction rate for black people is unacceptable.
I just think the way she moves as an attorney, she moved all around. Like if she was running for judge, you would not want to vote her as a judge.
Right.
So now she's running for president. Nah, you good.
And I'm sad about it though. I am really affected by it because I definitely want to vote for a black woman. So then we say,
run so we can vote for
a black
baby,
woman. I'm getting ready for president.
Purple rally sign.
This if Donald Quack, who grabbed him by the Uzi, can run for president and win, you best to believe I'm taking my strippers and we going to, like, no, I don't have no strippers enough. Just playing. But if Donald Trump,
we can cover it up.
We can cover it up. You know what I'm saying? If Donald Trump can do it, I mean, if this quack can do it, anybody can do it. Anybody can do it. He told somebody that, go ahead, punch him in the face, I'll pay for the medical bills. So in a rally, you told somebody,
don't worry, I
got it. Send her home.
Care for all.
Like you said hello to your one black friend all the way in the back. You are a bastard. Like, okay,
all right, thank you.
Thank you, Sharon, for tuning in. Thank you. It's a IBN salon. How are you, Raleigh OPM? We appreciate you turning out. Appreciate you guys. Dara Leona 1, thank you so much. Pudding Governor 215, we see you. I like your name. The Connect, what's up? We see you. Mary Cry Harrell. Oh, hey. I'm messing people's name up. Hey, Brother Harrell. How are you doing? And Mr. Frog 215, we see you. Kid and I, we see you. Too Cocky to Love, we see you. I hope that I don't know if I like your name anymore. Explain it to me. All right, and Fun
RKHD.
Okay, thank you. And Miss Dimple is my beautiful hairstylist, who I have not seen lately, but the hair's still holding up. So good job,
I know that's
Miss
right.
Dimple. Hey,
I gotta see mine cheek on Wednesday.
You be busy, man. It's hard.
Listen, they by appointment only.
It's by appointment only, and you gotta make the time to have the appointment.
We need to go back to the house call.
I'm telling you, listen. My hairdresser, she be mad at me. She's like, "Can you get?" And I'm like, listen, I'm Thursday, but Friday, but Thursday, 6, 7, how about 8 o'clock for you? That way, 8 ain't gonna work. Okay, well, and then I got, baby. So shout out to the Weave Bar and shout out to my girl, Miss Dimples, who is, she's just a unique individual who just slays the hell out of some hair. So thank you, Bill. Can y'all want to give your purple kisses yourself to your people too?
Shout out everybody who is tuning in. You know who you are.
Yeah.
Tuning in to PQ Radio 1,
yeah.
Philly's #1 independent black media.
Yes.
I love it. Love her voice.
Digital. Maybe I should say digital.
Digital.
Yeah. The W already uses that, but
yeah,
we love them too.
We love them too. I'm saying.
Hey y'all, thank y'all. You know how I do.
She's such a damn judge. She's such a judge. Early enough. And we definitely want to thank you guys for tuning in and rocking out with us, here at PQRadio1.com each and every day. We push your narrative. And at any time, I know we talk so much, you can engage, on the call, but feel free to call because we will engage you and talk about the issues that matter to you. Yes. We know that we cover all the issues because that's what we do. We're good cover of everything's issues because we're living real people and, real people doing real things, fighting for real change.
And I appreciate the opportunity to come on and, talk to the people.
Yes,
let us know how we can serve you.
Yes, I love that. Early and often. So, we are coming to the end of the show. I think I gave all my shouts. I don't know. I'm sure I have 50,000 more
announcements.
to give.
Do you have any announcements?
Yes. We're having a book bag drive. And see, this is the also the bad thing. Like I have actually one more phone I'm supposed to have out, so I can actually go through the stuff that I'm supposed to talk about. Mm-hmm. I'm learning. It's progress. It's happening. I want to let you know that we are working on a very special podcasting service as well for all the up and coming podcasters who need a platform. Working on something very brilliant for all of you as well. Here at PQRadio1.com. Thank you very much. And also, 29th August, we're having a book bag drive with Music Notch, Skeet over there. And we are having many performers like Del P, who I'm just signed. They do over there with Rock Nation and them. I mean, not Rock Nation, Rough Nation and them. Schwartz Music. Congratulations, Del P, because he works really hard. So I'm going to definitely mention his accomplishments as well, and as many other performers going on August 29th. And I'll be hosting, yay, along with Joey Zaza. What's up, Zaza? I know, right? So we're bringing them back out to have something with us August 29th. So get that information. Go to our social page at PQRadio1.com live.
Yes. Wonderful. And just to look forward to, mark it on your calendars, September 28th is the Sickle Cell Walk by the Please Touch Museum. Please Touch Me. Right.
Please touch me?
No, what? It's Please Touch. What museum you going to?
No kids at this museum.
Okay, what is the museum? Please touch. Oh, museum. Please touch.
Not please touch me.
Not please touch.
This is by the way you did not turn it on.
I know. I put the fee in because I didn't want it to be too cold.
Yes, it's our fault. We should have ended the show already. So she is,
Yes, on time.
She's right on time.
Yes.
So go to the Peace Touch Museum and
Peace Touch Museum. Yes, September 28th. You need to sign up. I'll have more information.
Yes,
so also sign up because everybody, including the senators and the Congress people here in Pennsylvania, because Pennsylvania has a high population of sickle cell patients.
Exactly.
It's one of the highest. It's like top 5.
Yes, so. And then make sure as you go to this event that you also join us at the Met for Senator Sharif Street fundraising. Women for Sharif Street.
Women for Sharif Street. Because I want to say,
women on the street.
No, not women in the street. Women for
Please Touch Me
Museum. Right. So after you go to the Please Touch Museum, the book bag drive is on the same day. Come at 5 o'clock p.m. to 9 o'clock and really start engaging, and connecting and networking and having a good time for a great cause.
For a great cause, only $20.20. I want people to say, hey, Purple, so I can come party with y'all in the Senator for $20.20. You know what I'm saying? Yes. And so please, you want to listen? Let's get dressed up.
Yes,
let's get
fly.
Beautiful.
We got some really great stuff that's happening.
Get some hors d'oeuvres.
You'll love it. I'm telling you, it's 300 plus venue. It's beautiful, velvet couches, high top tables. This is something that you don't want to miss, you're having a good time with someone that, has done the work for the people. And
if you buy a ticket and say Purple sent you, there's a special Purple prize for each one of you.
Okay.
So that's an incentive for you. So anyway, with that said, I got to say this. It's time for the show to be over, so you know we're going to sign off officially. But let me tell you this. Epstein.
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm. He was murdered. They offed him. The Illuminati said, hell no, you ain't taking us all down with you. They so super mad that report came out right before they offed his ass, but they offed him.
Which report? The one with him and Clinton?
No, the one him and the prime minister of this and the prime minister of that and the president of this person. All that list that just came out. They super mad that they didn't get his ass before then. So who knows who sent them in to kill his ass. But he did not commit suicide.
Well,
no, he didn't.
I don't know, but what I do know is that it happens to many African American men who are incarcerated, who's supposed to get 24-hour surveillance, and then something happens, but yet it doesn't make headlines because of who they are. So let's keep them all in prayer, and if they're on watch, let's hope that they are actually on watch.
Right. So with that said, we are ending the show, and remember, baby, freedom ain't free.
Nope.
And justice has a fee.
I know that's.
And where there is no vision, a people perish. Keep the faith, baby. We love you. Mwah! PQRadio1.com and put God first.
Bye. Bye, y'all.
Thank y'all for tuning in.
Thank you.
Yes, y'all. Hey, William. Sorry we're ending the show. Sorry. That's my dude right there. Hey, William. Yes, Will.
Okay, don't forget to mute your
That's
mic.
my daddy. Oh, did we save it?